Uthekwa nalethi phone.
Sekusele kangaka bese ngizokudabula ngempama ngempela.
Yini bijabile ufihla amathenda nawe.
Johnny, let's film the biggest gig up with Joseph. Sound set, Majida, the vibes. Tonight, imagine.
Abangwana. Boy. Masambe new way. Uthini?
Siyeza. Uthi esebakho kumshito ocimile erumini yakhe.
Like, ushwile.
Dime sa mo tlapat-lapit ka rin or something.
Ano siya pala? Patrick. Siya ka?
Umyini kimtshela ulenzo ukuthi kulahlanga nje.
Violence? Ayizokunika mpinga. Ukumkuthi wenza ntoni wena?
Uyayibona into ekufanele uyenze kodwa ukhetha ungayenzi mhlawumbe yasaba
Sinake-ke.
Upho andile manager yabo into enidingayo nina ninsi ninenewo nidinga umuntu ozogxila kulina kuphela.
Ngicela sihambe sekuyi-sound first njengamanje. Let's go.
All right, gentlemen. Welcome to the Weldun Podcast. Everybody who's watching, welcome. I'm joined by the super talented duo, being Mr. Gavin Sterley, the DOP of what you've just watched, which is Kites, the Kites movie, and the talented director, Menzi Mzimela, first-time director, coming out with a banger for his first film. Gents, how are you feeling? How are you guys doing?
I feel good, man. I feel good. I'm glad we're at the point where we're presenting the movie and people like it. And it turned out pretty sick. So, yeah, I'm relieved.
Yeah. And Gavin, how are you feeling, man? I remember when I first saw you, showed you the trailer, and you were like, "What? Oh man, you know." And I had the same feeling. I've never seen a trailer of like something I've done that, because actually we didn't edit this trailer. It was done by an agency from Channel Side, and I was worried, but then I saw the trailer, man. I was like, damn, wow, you know. Yeah. And how are you feeling about the film so far, seeing the trailers? I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet on Showmax.
I haven't watched the film yet. Just seen the trailer. I'm going to do that now. I just finished another project. So, yeah, very demanding one. Yeah, I've been doing I think what we were averaging between 15 and 18 hour working days. So, yeah, I haven't had time to watch anything in the last 2.5 months since it dropped. So, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see it. Yes, it looks like it is epic. Yeah. So we missed you at our red carpet premiere, which was incredible. Someone said to me, they're like, I feel like I'm in Hollywood right now. That's literally what that red carpet felt like. Menzi, what was that like for you? Just the first sharing a film. You know, you get to sometimes make a film, it goes out and streams out or whatever, but you got to not only make your first film, and you also got to watch it with an audience at a festival, at one of the marquee cinemas at the festival. What was that like?
Oh man, it was amazing, dude. It felt like, there was a time. There was such a huge gap between the film and the premiere. Like when everything was done, and at some point you just start asking if it was all worth it. And then when you get to the premiere and you get the response and the feedback, you're just like, okay, it was all worth it. Everything was fine. It all worked out. So for me, I was just satisfied that there was a genuine response to the film. You know, it wasn't just a thing of hey, Menzi's got a movie, let's support him. People are just like, okay, this was actually sick. This was actually a sick movie, you know, because a lot of people, my dad was there, my parents were there, and my parents, you know, they're very critical people, and my mom was like, oh, this is so funny. You wrote this. Oh, this is actually some funny stuff going on here. This is interesting. There was a genuine enjoyment from the film, and that was the intention. And then obviously there's that red carpet feeling, you know, you kind of have to make the most out of it. And that was, for me, was amazing, you know, taking the photos, everybody's happy, you know, and that was cool. So I really enjoyed it. And it just felt like a relief, okay, it was the first feature film for the company, and we did a good job. and I think we set a strong foundation for whatever else is gonna come.
I don't know if Gavin knows this, but literally standing ovation at the screening, man. Which I had tears in my eyes, I had goosebumps. I was like, whoa, seeing that moment, seeing where Menzi started this journey from the very first draft of the script that we received to seeing that moment was just so beautiful, so shout out to that. But Menzi, tell me the inspiration for people who don't know. Obviously, I know because I was part of the team in the making of this. Inspiration of the film. What inspired the film from your side?
Oh yeah, so like in about 2014, I started vlogging because obviously I had no idea how to pursue being a director. Like where do you even begin, really? So I started vlogging with my friends, and I was like obviously just directing them, say do this, do that, just having like this whole vlogging series with my friends that I'd post on YouTube. And then it ended in like 2018, the series, and then when I started in 2020 during lockdown, I had an idea for a movie. And then I was like, let me just reference my friendship group, but create a fictional story. So once I had the cool story to tell, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just add these dudes into the story, and because I already know the characters, I already know who they are as people, so I just referenced them and I wrote them into the story called Kites. And I was just doing it for fun, honestly, because I never wrote the movie thinking it's gonna happen. I was just like, oh, let me just start writing. I had like final draft. And I paid so much money for final draft, but I wasn't using it. So I was like, I'm just gonna just write some stuff and put it to use, like a hobby, basically. And then I wrote Kites, and I remember sending it to Hosana, Juve, and Apiwe at the time. And there were notes on it.
So you sent it to Apiwe all the way back, back
2020. Yeah, bro. I'd met him on Skype. I met him on Skype.
Wow.
And then I sent him Kites, and he was like, dude, we need to make this. And I'm like, I don't know how we're going to make this. And then I sent it to, obviously, you and Hassan and Juve, and they sent notes. And no one expected anything. No one was like, oh, this is going to, it was like, oh, we're going to just give Menzi's notes. He's writing scripts, good for him. And then Hassan was like, he messages me, he's like, hey, there's an initiative for Showmax and JFF, I don't know. I feel like they're going to like the script. Maybe just send it. Let's see. Don't hold your breath, but you never know. They feel like they want new stuff. Then I sent it to them, and all of a sudden, like we're getting like the interviews. There's like 4 interviews before they approve you. I want to see what it's about, and then I wasn't realizing that this movie might happen until like the 4th interview. I'm like, hey man, why would they call me for a 4th interview? Like why? If they keep telling me to come back, there's something they're enjoying here. And then then they approved us, and then we just started the pre-production.
And I think it was like 4 months, where we pitched and then we waited to know what was happening. But one of the most significant things on the journey, Gavin, is like we do a pitch, right? We get called into to pitch the thing, and obviously Menzi being the director, he's the one pitching. We used to doing pitches where it's a little bit tense. They're like, you got 20 minutes to pitch, 10 minutes for questions, and then it's like a very much a cutting down of like, okay, this doesn't work, and a lot of questions of people trying to basically find the holes. So we do the pitch, and then the lady's like, I really love the script. Menzi, could you read us? There's a funny scene. Could you read us the scene? And now we're like, read us the scene. Now we're like, we never prepared to like they literally wanted to hear the dialogue. They're like, I just love this. Is so funny. And it was like a portion from like Kelly's scene. So that was quite a wild thing for people to love the script so much that they're asking you to read it in the pitch. And that's kind of I knew. I was like, okay, I think this thing is gonna happen because they're actually rooting for it, But Gavin, from your side, the first time you read the script, what were your thoughts? Because we were in it for a while. So once you start sharing it with HODs and a DOP, we always like, is he gonna like the script? Is he gonna get it? What did you think?
Well, yes, when I read the script, it was like almost, it felt also to me, it was very close to home, like to my growing up and that, also like spending a lot of time in the club scenes, like on the streets. So it was like, I don't know, it had like this reminiscence of youth for me as well. So it was a very close script for me, like in that sense. that it, and like also the world in which it happens. It's like that very kind of like hip hop graffiti, like Joburg Central, you know. I mean, back in like my younger days, that's where we spent like a lot of our nights, like on that very street that we shot in, you know. So it was very cool. It was to me, it was also trying to tell the story of my friends as well. So it was the same thing, like visually, you know, like try and make it look like how I remember the clubs looking, and like that influence of graffiti and like nightclubs and music and that. So it was very cool.
Really cool, man. Yes, and Menzi, so you pitched this thing. You eventually get the green light, right? And I'll never forget that day when that email came in. Literally called Menzi 5 minutes later. Yo, we're just finished actually discussing something, and then we'll call you back. We're like, oh, got some news for you. Kite is happening, you know. And it was like it's such a. I think it'll always be one of those moments that stays with me, you know, because it's kind of like our first feature film as a company, from a Weldun perspective. But now you get this commission, and talk me through now what your approach is now to kind of visualizing this thing, because you had the script, you kind of had a direction of tone of where you wanted to go with it, but now where did you pull inspiration from as a director in terms of like, this is the pacing, the feel, the style that I want to evoke for the viewer?
Yeah, cool. So first I pulled from my vlogging, because it's obviously quite like a run and gun type thing. And then at the time, I remember I was really into the Safdie brothers, like these two directors from New York. And they did like a movie called Good Time, and then they did Uncut Gems. And they had this like rough, like super rough, but super like textured and well performed and well written stories. And the way they approach story just made it feel like, you know, it's possible to tell like compelling, powerful story with like feeling, even though they because they were under resourced when they were shooting the movies, but they shot such incredible like cinema. So I was like, okay, man, this is interesting. I like this style, you know. So they were one of my biggest references, and then there's a lot of like nostalgia references from just movies I grew up with, like, you know, Friday. It also takes place in one day. Belly was like a big movie I used to watch. It's not the best film, but it's the best. It's such a nice looking movie, especially for back then. So I was like, oh man, this is interesting. I can reference these ideas, and I think they'll work for the story. And then when I started building the treatment, those were the visual references I was pulling from, and then I was like, obviously, comparing them with the script. Is it gonna work? Does it match? You know, because at the end of the day, the style must match the tone of the story. But because the film is so high stress, high comedy, I'm like, okay, this energy is gonna work for the film. It might work very well. So that's what I was doing. And then when I it's funny enough, when I got that call, the next day was my personal pre-production, because pre-production started in Feb or March, but I started that treatment the next day, because I was like so nervous. I was like, yo, man, it dawned on me like, yo, I have to prove that I'm a good director. Yo, okay. So I started building that treatment. So by the time the treatment process started, I just sent Hosanna what I built, like, and Juve. They're like, oh, yo, you already done all of this, okay. And it just kind of helped. I just became very desperate to prove that I actually deserve this, and I have to make this like sick, you know. So just a lot of nerves, but I was referencing a lot from just those two elements, because the Safdies shoot in New York and they shoot that style. So I'm like, okay, if I take that style and bring it to Joburg, it might actually work pretty well.
That's really cool, man. For a first time director to do this kind of film, I was having heart palpitations for you, purely because 6 days shoot with a cast of 4 guys that are basically in every scene, which means that obviously the blocking, you're constantly having to block for all of those characters, which is quite intense. And we're shooting in the peak of winter, which is hectic. But you still managed to do some really cool creative stuff that really excited me, because you know, in SA we can sometimes be a little bit too safe in approaching storytelling, you know. plug and play, the usual kind of things we've seen in other shows. But you did this really cool thing in this by playing with this vlog style feeling of the world, you know, of the guys, which I really love. I just want to play a little snippet of it, and then I'll get into hearing from Gavin about how he elevates the treatment for the director. Yeah, so people don't know this when they watch the film, but that vlog camera was the camera that the characters are carrying in the film is actually the footage that we see in the film. So they themselves are recording themselves as well while they're actually in the scene, which is quite crazy, man. Like, I think that's really, really dope, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And what are your challenges with that, Menzi? Like, shooting something like that, like letting actors work their own camera throughout the movie.
And yeah, well, funny thing, that was actually, I remember it was actually your idea. I remember you were like, dog, you used to vlog. Why don't you just make one of them a vlogger? And I'm like, hey, that's risky. It was a risky thing. But it was a fun thing because we had safety. You know, we had Gavin already setting up the cool shots. So that was like a safety. It was like, hey, if it doesn't work, at least you've set up a scene. So I never felt nervous attempting it because there were so many safety measures. And then luckily everything just worked, you know. So I was cool with it for the simple fact that we had mitigated so much risk. So we're like, let's just have fun. Let's see what happens, you know. Because I remember Juve wanted to replace the vlog with Gavin's camera, but we didn't have the time and resources. So we were allowed to just say, press record and hope for the best. And then we just checked in post and like, okay, it's working here, it's not working there, can't use one, but we can use this one. And then so it was pretty cool for me.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Gavin, you get to see a lot of treatments as a DOP. How do you usually like look at a treatment and your process of kind of visualizing that and bringing that through on screen? Because you did it so beautifully in this film. And I you know, I said on set, I think I said it on set, or I said it, I'm like, would never get through this without Gavin. Like, this film would not look like this without Gavin. And one of the things I love about you, Gavin, is that you just so always open to just to be creative, man, just to play, you know, and not so rigid in how you approach filmmaking. And I love that energy and it really comes through in the work that we've made together. But yeah, what is talk me through that approach of why you approach story like that? Yeah.
I just don't ever want to be in like a box. I don't ever want to have like a look with things that I do where people can watch it and go, oh, this is Gavin that shot this. You can see his style. I always try. So I like to stay as true to each treatment as possible, because it's very easy to take a treatment and then just exactly like you say, fall in your comfort zone. So then you fall into your style and the way that you like to do things. So I try not to get into that, like into a mold of the way I do things. So I like the input of the director. I like him to be suggesting things. And like, what I really loved about working with Menzi as well was he was always like, what if we tried this? You know, like, what if we tried that? And like, always like, even on set, like, and through the pre-pods like phase, it was like, he was always like, what if we tried this? So it was always things that we'd like, neither of us had ever done. So we don't know if it's going to work. And it's like, let's try it. So, and then we would try it. I mean, it's exactly like you say with that vlog style camera. I was super nervous to have a camera that I don't have control of. Control, you know? That then obviously with post, I have no control of where it gets used either in the edit. I look at it now and I'm like, it just worked so well, you know. It's like, it just added like, and it was exactly that. It was just taking a chance, I guess, and like being risky. I think that's where we actually need to be as filmmakers, is constantly being risky, like not falling into what's safe and what we're comfortable with.
There's a shot that I remember. I think it was actually our last shoot day when we were shooting the hospital, outside the hospital thing, the scene. That's the scenes there outside that hospital are just it's such a short scene, but it's so dope, man. Like, and I remember seeing the shot because the car has a sunroof, and I remember seeing the shot from the top into the car on the actors' faces, and I was like, nah, man, nah, that's flipping dope, man. Like, you don't see stuff like that, from an African perspective. We always, because we're such a telenovela soapy territory, that cinema is, we say we're making cinema, but we're still kind of falling into the same TikTok of like medium close-ups, so seeing those creative angles into the sunroof and then seeing from reflections of the rearview mirror, I was like, man, this is gonna be sick. And then the sequence as the guys carrying the body on the super wide shot where you see them just running across the frame, and I was like, really, really dope, man.
And that was like credit to Gavin, because I remember on that day, it was day 6, and I realized that it was it was the third time they were in the car, and I had run out of creativity because I'm like, we can't use the same shots from the first two. And I literally was like, Gavin, I don't even know what to do here. And he was like, let me figure something out. Let me figure, you know how Gavin was like, yeah, let me figure this out. And then he's like, oh, I see a sunroof. Like he was like, oh, there's a sunroof. Open the sunroof. Let's see how that looks, And he was like giving me these interesting shots because I didn't want it to look monotonous, because it's the third time they're in the car. And I was stuck, and he was like, nah, I've got something. I'm thinking of something. Let's try it. Let's see, So that was really cool, man.
Cool. Let's see a behind the scenes of Gavin at work, and kind of get a jog our memories back to that cold day. Yeah, that's you. That's you kind of doing that shot, on the car. I saw you even freezing. You like literally standing like.
He was even fighting flu, bro. I remember he was.
Flu,
bro.
I got so sick on the recce. That one, like, remember how cold that recce was? And I was wearing like a jersey. Yes, and I got so sick. So I had to do the shoot, like sick from the recce. Yes, it was hard.
yeah. That last shoot day, it was the coldest. Set down.
And then we have like cast without a shirt on the roof. It was so hectic.
yeah.
And the rest of us all in jackets, beanies, scarves, gloves.
So just on a technical side of things, for people who don't know, you obviously shot on. Do you remember the gear specifically that you were shooting with? I know it was you used a Sony FS7.
FX9.
FX9. So just talk us through that gear in terms of how, because I think Menzi, in your look and feel was very much playing with RGB lighting style, contrasting that cool and warm, and obviously, just talk me through all that technical stuff that in terms of the shooting style, Menzi, what you were trying to achieve, and then Gavin, just maybe talk me through how you achieved that in terms of the technical side of the gear. Of gear and lensing to get the look.
Cool. So for me, working with color was new to me because my vlogs were black and white. So I was honestly just being experimental. And then I was doing research as well. So I just wanted a bit of vibrancy. So obviously you can do the red and the blue, but also another color I enjoyed looking at was like gold, brown gold. So it was honestly just an experimental process, just by research. Again, I researched my references, and I'm like, let me not try be safe, and let's see what happens. So it was very new to me playing with color, but I think Gav kind of made it easier because he understood it, like, terminology wise. He's like, oh, I think I know what you're trying to do here, and kind of so his technical part of it was helping me understand myself and my relationship with color. So that was basically what I was trying to do.
And Gav, from a technical perspective, I know you opted for using like a shoulder rig, right? Because realistically, we know we wanted that very kind of rough feel of a camera that kind of is loose. We didn't really use tripods that much. So yeah, just talk me through why you went that, because there was also a conversation of, do we go for like a rig, but you opted for more of a handheld shoulder rig feel.
Well, also in pre-prod, Menzi did mention like uncut gems and a good time. So like having watched those, it's very rough. The camera's moving. It looks like the cameraman is. It looks like it's vlogged as well. So I didn't want to go too rough with it because we had the vlog camera as well. So I wanted it to be a little bit separated, but I still wanted that like more rough, raw, kind of more of a street look, like a graph. I would call it like a graph look that we went for, like within that world of Joburg, Newtown, where it had to have that look of the streets and like of the clubs and of the youth of today, you know, like that's kind of that age that's going through that like clubbing phase now and the music phase. So it was very much to get that look. That's what we were trying to do. Which was like, to me, very, very handheld, moving along, like you're in the streets with them. And to get that, we decided to go shoulder. So we did I can't even remember doing a shot of a tripod. I think we had the cameras on our shoulders for the full 6 days. As far as I can remember.
How was that on your body? How was that on your body, having that thing for 6 days?
Hard.
Jeez, man.
6 days, yeah. And like also because it's like a full movie in 6 days, you're running for that entire 6 days. You're just constantly in like running mode. And then with the camera on your shoulder, it gets heavy. But it's so rewarding. So definitely worth it. And then with lensing, I wanted something that was a little bit more clean in terms of lensing so that we could get a clean image. So we went with the Sigma FF glass. It was an affordable PL mount cine lens glass that we could use, that had a cleaner look so that we could manipulate more in post as well. But they're relatively fast for their price. So we could afford to shoot with a lot of low light because we did need to go in a lot of situations with very little light. So we kind of tried to rely on what was there, what was existing already, and then just enhance that and then splash with color. So those lenses, I think, worked beautifully. Oh, and then we mixed them with some Canon FDs as well. For the shots and that. We had some Canon, some vintage glass in there as well. For the places we had a bit more light and we wanted that slightly more textured look in the glass.
No, man, you did an amazing job. Like, just like the film looks, it looks amazing, dude. Like, and after at the premiere, right, I had several people, as we were walking out to go to the red carpet, somebody like stopped me. They're like, "Hi, sorry, who's the DOP or who shot this?" And I'm like, "Gavin Sterley." And they're like, "Wow." They're like, "Yeah, it looks amazing. Just tell him that he did an amazing job." And they were like blown away. And that scene, the scene where the guys are standing by the car, right? And they're smoking and having a boys' conversation. I'm telling you that for me, when we were shooting the scene and when I was watching the film, I'm like, this feels like I'm in LA. This is LA. This is it's got that Hollywood aesthetic. It's the performance, the pacing, the angle, the shots, the angling with the graffiti at the back. And on the other side, you've got the braid. It's incredible, man. It's really, really beautiful.
It had a very Venice Beach, like downtown LA type of feel.
Cool. And dude, that's so just a quick one at JFF. I was at JFF. I ran into the head of scripted, Tebogo, like, and then after he shook my hand, and he was like, "The movie's dope." Second thing he said, like, "Who the hell is your DOP?" Like, that's the head of scripted, bro. He's like, "Yo, who the hell shot that, bro?" Like, everyone always goes like, "Dog, dope movie. Who shot that thing, bro? Like, who was the guy who's shooting?"
Thanks.
Shout out, man.
Cool.
Were there any scenes that were the most creatively challenging for you guys? What was the hardest scene that you were worried about, that you approached it, and then the end result you actually did better than what you expected? Or talk me through that.
For me, it was definitely sound set because there was just a lot going on. So
Yeah.
I remember even when in the treatment I put the punch scene, the snorri cam, and I thought I didn't think I'd get it. And then Gavin was like, "Yeah, I'll just build it." I remember he built it like at his house. Even when you were testing it, he like put like these wooden platforms, and he built like he like rigged it. He did like a custom snorri, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not the ideal one, but I'm like, yo, this is perfect, you know." But the sound set was tough because there was just so much to think about, and it's like I have to orchestrate all of these elements, and we were 3 hours behind, so. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting how we do this, and then just the solutions we were finding to make sure that we get everything we needed was, I don't know, it for me at that day 5 made me feel like a proper director, because yo, it was just problem solving, bro. Like, okay, while you shoot the people partying, we'll shoot Patrick, and then okay, you come back, you shoot there, you do this, okay, we've got 20 minutes, and it's like, and then when I was editing it, I was like, oh, okay, wow, I have enough to build the scene here. So that the challenge, day 5 was a challenge, but I never felt like scared or pressurized. I felt like now I'm directing, even though I'd done 4 days. That day 5, then I felt like a director. So that was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge for me.
Yeah, I must say, Menzi, it was quite cool seeing. I feel like you're actually touching on something there. I literally was to become a director in one film. It was quite interesting because honestly, the first day I was like, I was like on top of you, and then after the first day, I was like, okay, cool, let me think. And by like you're right, like by day 3, you were like, okay, this is what I want now. Okay, this taking ownership of the thing, which is really cool to see. And that's why, like I was saying, by day 6, I was really just there, just kind of watching the show and really enjoying the magic of it. I want to just play this a snippet from the scene you're talking about, and then Gavin will get to you in terms of your scene. This scene for me, I'm like, no cap, right? But like, this is probably the coolest scene I've seen in a South African film, like from a feeling vibe point of view, sound set. Like when we were playing it at JFF, my wife hadn't seen the film either. Right? She's sitting next to me, and then the sound set scene starts, and then there's a scene where the guys walk in slow-mo, and then there's a shot of the crowd, and I think the camera's even tilted, and then she just looked at me. She's like, that's what she's like, wow. And as I'm like, I've never seen a scene that kind of gives you that, because you usually shoot party scenes, you shoot like an event in a film, and it feels like, okay, it's an event. This one feels like reality. It feels like we went to an actual club, and it feels like that entourage thing where we're in the real world, and we just happen to put our cameras there type thing. And that's really what was cool about the scene. I'm just gonna play a snippet of it.
Okay. Bukan sinto ngayon.
Ufuna dance.
Yeah. Gavin, your most challenging scene? Are you muted? You just muted.
I'm mute, bro.
I had two challenging scenes. Sunset wasn't a challenge for me. I loved Sunset. It was when all of them appear at her apartment, when they're all at her apartment, and they've got to remove that body, and we just had that that room that had like nothing to give, where eight people that we had to shoot. I think it was, how many? It was the 2 girls, 7 people that we had to shoot. And I was just like, oh, how, like low ceilings, so nowhere to light from, narrow rooms, so nowhere to light from the sides. So that to me was just like a technical challenge. I mean, I knew from the recce that was going to be a challenge. I did know that. So that was the one. I think that got saved. That got saved in grade. That was made really pretty in grade. just to give us some shape and stuff. And then in edit, you guys chose all the right angles, like you didn't linger on the shots that were great. So that was great. And then the second one was the art gallery. Because the art gallery, when we recceed it, to what I was expecting it was going to look like to what it looked like was also two different things. So I wanted like that art gallery of pictures that we could shoot through and have depth.
I remember,
yeah, we didn't get that. So we also just had this empty room. So that one was challenging without depth and layers.
I think the two scenes you're talking about is when art is really it's so difficult because you only the film is only as good as whatever the camera points at, whatever you can have the prettiest glass and the best lighting, but the camera needs to look at something, and I think that's why I was stressing about those two locations, is that they need a lot of work in terms of art, in terms of ideas that we had, and you still have to kind of make it happen somehow. Menzi.
And we also had an issue with the lights at the gallery. The natural lights that I was going to rely on didn't work that night. They worked when we recceed. And then when we got there, for some reason, they weren't working. Like none of the practicals in that place. So then we had to light that full space, which also set us back.
Also, I remember the bathroom scene. There was a huge struggle to light that scene. I remember like you were putting like pipes on the roof, and it was like causing like 2-hour delays because you were. I remember that bathroom scene. It was supposed to be like a simple scene, but just rigging up those lights became such a mission. And it turned out great, but I remember there was a huge like unexpected struggle to light it up because it's such a confined space, So,
it was the rigging in a confined space. That's what actually ended up costing us like time there. But that came out nice. That came out really nice. I like that scene.
Even the one of the actors, Craig, was saying that it's his favorite scene, that bathroom scene, with the red lighting and the smoke. I think it's just really beautiful for where it is in the film, like after the crazy climax of the film that we have with the fighting and whatever. I think it's really beautifully placed, and the mood of it really matches the film well. How do you? This is more for Menzi. You've now obviously gone through doing your first film as a director. What is some of the biggest things that you learned in this process? Of taking a film from script to screen?
I keep reiterating this, man. Like I think if you slack off in pre-production, your movie's gonna collapse completely. I've built such a deep respect for preparing a film. So I've realized that if you set that foundation, a lot of things can go right, because the pre-production phase is where everybody's feeling you out as a director. They're feeling out your vision, and they kind of checking like how serious you are about what you want to achieve. And I believe that part of why Kites went so well is because I think the treatment kind of made them realize like, okay, man, this guy clearly knows what he wants to achieve here, and it helped them build upon it. You can build upon things better when that preparation is very, very strong. And then production, obviously, that was my first time leading. I've spent like 11 years in the industry being a subordinate. Like you answering to this guy to do an edit, you answering to this guy to be, and then for the first time, it's like, you're the boss. I remember day one, the AD was like, bro, stop looking left and right. We're on your set, so please don't hesitate. If you want to do something, tell us to do it, because I was so used to answering to other people. Yeah, made me realize like you're not answering to anyone. We have to answer to you now. That was very difficult. Like, I have to trust whatever I'm trying to achieve here, and not second guess it. So those are the two most important parts of it: the leadership part and then the pre-production part. Like that was it was eye-opening what pre-production can do to a movie when done properly.
Which is something we never get paid enough for, especially in our industry.
The time, we don't get enough time for that. It's like this.
Hopefully, in one day that'll change. Once they see films like Kites, they're like, "Hey, actually, these guys maybe should have time to prep." They actually should have a bit of money. Because when you're listening to your Hollywood counterparts talk about having an 8-month rehearsal on just working with an actor on accent work for 8 months. When I heard that, I was like, "Geez, man, just." The guy's going to the director's house for 8 months. They're meeting and having coffee, talking about, this is where I want to place the character. Must be so nice. Before we close it, gents, I want to play a small clip from Kelly's scene, who is our crazy pharmacist, as he calls himself, i.e. drug dealer, who is very key to the plot of the film. And I want to play that, and then I'll hear from you guys in terms of your most memorable moments on set. Any scenes that you guys are particularly proud of. And then we'll close it there. Let me just...
Emang Bill, uqeda pizza ka pharmacist.
Uselapho. Ngibhaliwe mina.
Ubhalwe njani usisine manje wena?
Hayi kaloku mna ndinemvumo esemthethweni yokuhambisa intsango yami. Ezinye izinto andikazifumana, ndithi niyazazi ukuthi izinto zihamba kanjani.
Thengisa iziyobisi.
Ungakulinga undibize loo nto.
Cool. People's favorite scene with Kelly, they really loved it at the premiere. And everybody just kept going fourth dimension. That was kind of the thing that stuck with the people. Gents, your most memorable moment on set that you will take with you from Cuts?
Gav, you can go first.
I don't have one specific memorable moment like that. It's one of those shoots that the entire shoot, every time I think about it, I smile. It's it was just a very memorable shoot in general. It's hard to I mean, we had a sick crew, we had sick cast, we had predominantly epic locations. It was such a good shoot, man. It was one of those that it just we had hiccups, we had hiccups. I mean, as every shoot does, but we always managed to overcome them somehow, quickly, and then gain time again, catch that time that we lost up. Whereas most shoots, when that time is gone for the day, So it was, I don't know, it was just I feel like it was a very blessed shoot, man. It was blessed.
I think it really was. I think it really was. For me, I think I'll say again, what Menzi spoke about already, Soundset for me. When we were shooting, the day we were shooting Soundset, actually, no, there's two moments where that are just memorable for me in terms of scenes and in terms of just the days where I was like, okay, this film is going to be really good. Is Soundset, when I saw the atmosphere of the crowd and I saw the vibe and I saw how beautiful you lit the thing, the frames and the pavos at the back that were giving us that depth. This looked very pretty. And then the scene where they removing the body out of the apartment and they're going down the lift. When I saw that, I was like, I've never seen this from my country. This kind of crazy, it captured the essence of what we're doing in the film, which is something a bit more edgy and comedic, dark comedy, and that really was coming through in those kind of scenes. A vibe and the dark humor of it were executed well, and really that's where the film sat. And then also seeing the actors really loving the world. Everybody we brought on in front of camera got it, and they were loving what we were doing. So that's when you know something is working. Whereas sometimes you can have people trying to do something, but they themselves don't get it, or it's not landing. That's when you can worry about.
And then also a lot of actors that aren't used to the film world they get irritated when there's hiccups and stuff. And our cast were just so cool, man. They understood we have hiccups. That's every day. It's only telenovela that you don't have that you've got this machine that's just constantly grinding. We are trying to do stuff at that moment and at a high pace that looks so different. So we just had such a great cast that understood. So they weren't after waiting for 2 hours for us to light a scene, they didn't come back on like, it's cold and we've been waiting, and like they were like, yeah, cool, let's go for it, let's do it, you know. And I think that made a huge difference to our film as well. Like the guys had the same vision we did, you know. It wasn't like they had the vision of just themselves on camera. So like they carried that story with us, you know, which is just so cool. It was so very cool.
Yeah, Menzi, you quite responsible for that chemistry and feeling of the actors being so united together. You know, just talk me through what, because you did. I know you had a WhatsApp group with them. I think you hung out. You guys had hung out at some point before the shooting, just to build that chemistry amongst everybody. What did you do again?
So I wanted to hang out with them. I just didn't have the time. So then I started the group. Then in the group, I'd just be chatting to them like, hey guys, well, how do you feel about this? Are you feeling this? And but in all honesty, man, like Gavin was saying, they were really into this movie. You know, I want to take responsibility for that, but I think they just really enjoyed what they were reading, because there was a time where before, when you set up a scene, the AD would say, go and do a rehearsal. And then every time I'd walk in on them, they're already just fighting and chopping it up. Like, okay, you do that. Okay, don't do that. And then I'll just leave them alone. I'll just be like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna disturb these guys, bro. They were really just getting into it. And it's like what Gavin was saying, like the shooting. I never felt like a crazy person, you know, like that. And it was really cool being around people that didn't make me feel crazy. You know, so if I say to Gavin, I like this, and make the camera do this, he'd be like, oh yeah, let's see what happens. And then when I tell the actor, do this, try this, like everybody was like, okay, let's try that, you know. And because I always second guess my ideas, I'm like, hey, are they gonna think I'm weird for this? And everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. It's fine. It seems like this is gonna work. Let's play with it, you know. You know. And then my favorite, like that's one of my favorites. The walking in on the guys rehearsing, that was cool. And then one of my favorite scenes was Soundset. There was a moment on Soundset where, because one of my best friends, he's in the scene, the guy who actually runs Soundset. And I was at the first Soundset event, and there were like 10 people there. And now Soundset is this huge thing, and he was there when I was a vlogger. So when I was like directing the stunts coordinator, the DOP, he was just looking at me like, yo, bro, who are you, bro? Like, how did you even get here? Like, you know what I mean? I was chilling with you when we were vlogging, trying to run in the streets. Now I'm making movies, you know. So that moment was like, okay, this is crazy. That was a cool moment. Like,
no, that's an amazing, being on the come up together and seeing where you guys have landed up, featuring him in the film. It was a really cool touch. No, guys, thanks to you for hanging out on the Weldun Podcast. I think it's been a really cool chat. And congratulations, Menzi, on your first film, which is really, really incredible. I hope to see more and more from you as a director, as you flex more, and hopefully we can still book Gavin on shoots, because you know he's going to be so in high demand. You know, still busy. People are already like, who's that Gavin guy? You know, Gavin's gonna triple his prices. Gavin, thank you again for giving us your talent, your time, and your awesome, crazy energy in our projects to, you know, try elevate and always find a fun way to do what it is that we try to do. Cool, guys.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Thanks to Weldun, bro. Thanks to Weldun for always trying to like up the game, you know, like for each one to like always got to be better than the next, which is like you guys don't accept complacency, and that's amazing as filmmakers. So big up to you guys, man. Yeah.
Shout out. Thanks, guys. If you haven't watched Kites, head over to Showmax. It's currently streaming. That's where you can catch it and go on a wild ride with the guys from Kites. Later, guys. Peace.